Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome back. I am Stacy Latona, your host for LipOut with Latona. Get it? Makes sense. So our whole goal of LipOut with Latona is to get more women on the golf course. There's 23 million golfers in the United States, and we make up like 24%. That's it. It's a very small number. So what better way to do that than to have fellow female golfers that enjoy the game as well and can give us a little bit about their background. So welcome my guest. Misty White. Hi,
Hello.
how are you today?
I am great. I'm happy to be here. Super excited to have some golf chat.
Yeah, no, we met not that long ago, and one of our kind of commonalities was golf, which is, really kind of a there aren't we talked there aren't that many. So when you can find that sort of commonality with somebody, it immediately sort of shifts your relationship, I think, into a different direction. So I want to kind of go back for you from a golfing perspective. When's the first time you picked up clubs? You remember?
I do. Yeah, well, I don't know the exact age. I think I was probably 13-ish. My parents were members at a very local small or not country club, but it was a club. So you could be members for the year there, and they were members and encouraged us to come out and golf. And I remember my mom. She was the club champion one year, and I just thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So again, it was a very small town, but she really encouraged me to just love like the game and do better and practice at it. So I was really lucky because back when I was in high school, we didn't have a team. There wasn't even a boys golf team where I lived, so it was pretty rare to be able to pick up a club and actually get out and play. So
Yeah, we're aging ourselves because I can think of a lot of things that we didn't have. From a sports perspective that I'm like, lacrosse, girls lacrosse, what is that? And all the girls play it now. So it's amazing what can transpire. So that's pretty amazing though. 13. I mean, I think I was maybe 28 or something when I picked up a club because I thought I got to like get a day off work. Everyone's going. And that was one of the things that I think is important. And you can speak to this too, besides the camaraderie, right, between women, and it's just fun to hang out with your girlfriends on a golf course, right? It's like
yeah,
something to do. Like instead of going to the mall or whatever, it's like, hey, let's go hang out, have a couple drinks. It's not a bar scenario, but you can head to and drink afterwards if you want to. I have this theme. I'm always talking about drinking, which is not good every time I but it is part of the game, right? But I mean, from a business perspective, I mean, have you found that that's been helpful for you too to be able to say, yeah, I can go, or yeah, I want to go when it comes to business meetings on the golf course?
I would say, well, yes, for two reasons. One is that I can network with other female golfers that are entrepreneurs as well. And I always love when I make a new friend who is an entrepreneur and a golfer. It is a great time to get out, play some golf, like you said, have a drink maybe. And a lot of times, too, if someone's a little nervous, they haven't played a lot of golf, a drink helps a lot.
I know
So,
people think it's so much better, or maybe it's just me thinking, but it does relax the nerves. I mean, it's such a mental game that when you do, then you're just like, okay, you
it
stop
can be.
caring. And I think I had somebody on that said to me, which made a lot of sense. Everyone's worried about their own game. They're not worried about your game. So when you bring somebody new and they're nervous about it, but no one's paying attention if you're any good or not because they just want to play a good game, right?
Yes, that's so true. I think a lot of times people get worried about, I don't play very good. And I hear that a lot because I've golfed for so long. People sometimes women get a little nervous. I think that they're like, oh, you don't want to golf with me. I'm really bad. And I just tell them, I just want to spend time with you. I just want to go out and have time in nature and with you and just enjoy and socialize. It's not about my score for you, and it's not about your score for me. It's about me competing against myself or just going out and having fun, whatever I'm out there for that day, right? So if I'm going out and playing in a competition of some sort, like with our golf course,
Right.
that's different. That's me going out knowing I'm going out with that intent. But when I'm going out with friends for an evening and we're going out for a couples thing, that's just for fun. It's just to go out and do something, like you said before. So I love that part about it. But people shouldn't be nervous. They should just get out there. It's so much fun.
I know. I still get the way I'm talking about golf. And I'm like, oh God, people are going to expect me to be decent now. Go out with, but I'm like, don't expect anything. I'm just like facing the fear and doing it anyway, putting myself out there, and just again, kind of the same scenario. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, have you like most embarrassing moment. Again, we want to make people feel comfortable. The stupid things we've done. I'll share mine, but most embarrassing moment on a golf course for you.
Oh boy. Well, we, we were golfing with some friends, and a lot of times I golf with guys, especially before when we were younger, like in our 20s. There weren't a lot, I didn't have any friends that golfed. So I would go out with my husband and his friends. Well, so we were with two of his friends, and he and I weren't really getting along fantastically at the moment. And so I went to toss him a ball, didn't happen to tell him I was tossing the ball, didn't say it out loud. I just was like, and I chucked it up in the air, and it landed right on top of his head.
Oh God, you're kidding.
It looked like I did it on purpose because we weren't getting along, but I didn't. It wasn't unintentional, right? But he wasn't very happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is so funny. Well, it's kind of like maybe just the energy between you two. The ball was like, oh, well, let me go where her anger is.
Right?
I was at Oakland Hills, my most embarrassing moment. I'm sure I have more than this, but in particular, the one that pops into my head was, Oakland Hills is kind of out of all the courses, it's definitely one of the more traditional, conservative places to golf,
Yes.
right? And my
Yep.
boss had he wasn't a member, but he knew a member. So we took a couple clients. It was myself, two clients, and my boss golfing. Well, I had never gotten a birdie. And so if you're going to get a birdie, Oakland Hills is the place to get one, right? Since I've had other ones.
Absolutely.
So it was my first one. And I mean, I almost got a hole in one. It was really, really, really close. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to try, but I'm going to wait to get excited until I put it in. So I put it in and I'm literally like doing this like dance, my total Stacy self, and I'm like, yes, like I'm all excited. And he goes, and I go, nobody shushes Stacy. You don't shush me. Like, this is an exciting time. I have to celebrate, right? But when I look back, that's kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? But that stuff happens, right?
You know, just bring your Staciness to the golf course. People need it. They need to lighten up.
I'm actually glad that you said that, my Staciness, because I have to share, and I wanted to ask you if you had anything in your golf bag, because I think that's kind of the cool thing about it too, that women don't know. Like you can really start to customize, what you got going on in your clubs, and they become kind of your babies, And I had somebody, it'll probably be backwards, but I had a client of mine. Can you see that? It says Staciness.
It's great. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
they
love it.
embroidered Staciness in here, and Nika's one of my clients, and I've golfed with them a few times, so this is obviously one of my golf, heads. But I'm like, that's so cute and sweet. Do you have anything in your arsenal that is one of your favorite things? People can make like club heads look like they're. I don't even know if I'm using that. Is it club head? Is that the right term for that?
Club head cover.
Club head
Yep.
cover, right, right, right. That it's like
Exactly.
their dog. You can make.
There's some funny ones out there, that's for sure. My husband just got a custom made one for Christmas, and it's like a fighter jet, like from the back in the day, like World War I fighter jet design. It's really cool. So like, and it's custom. So my mom ordered it for him for Christmas. Guys sometimes are the hardest people to buy for, but golfers, you can buy stuff for them because there's all kinds of cool stuff.
That's a
So
really good point because when you become a golfer, then other people can give you actually good things like a depth finder. Is that what you call those things? Or not, whatever, distance finder? I don't know what you call those. This is me like, again, I tell everybody I'm new at this. I don't know every single name of everything. I'm trying to, you know more than I do.
I
What do
think they're
you
rangefinders, maybe. I think that's what they're called. Yeah.
Mm,
To find the range from where you are to where the pin is, because the pin moves on the greens. So the golf course can put it close to the edge, or it can put it in the middle or in the back. So it gives you a general distance on your golf card, so you know about how many yards. And again, this is for golfers who are like, I know this is my club for this yardage, but when you're new, that doesn't matter, right? You just go out there and hit the ball, get it on the green, and put it in.
it's so sad. Another thing to admit, here I work for the PGA, and literally the first. I mean, I didn't know this. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I learned that in the first year that they actually moved. I didn't know that they moved the whole like on the green. Who knew? I
How
mean,
would you?
how would
Yeah.
you know, right? Oh, what you know?
Yeah, but it keeps it interesting for the people that are there all the time. Like my husband, we're at a country club and he golfs. That's pretty much where he primarily golfs. So it just kind of changes up the game a little bit on where the pin placement is.
Right, because
So
you get used.
so they use the rangefinder to know their yardage. Yeah,
Right, right. So, what is
but
your most? Whoa, what's that?
I was going to show you. So it's really probably hard to see, but this is a clip, and it's got a magnetized ball marker on it. So I use this, and I just put it right on my hat, and it clips right here. So when I'm so I don't have to like dig in a pocket or anything. It's just right here, and I pull it off and I put it down to mark my ball. So when you're on the green, so if you're not really familiar with golf and you're on the green, you can pick up your ball, but only if you mark it. And you usually mark your ball so that other putters don't have to go around your ball or anything like that. So
Right,
if you
right.
have dirt on it or something, you're not supposed to just pick it up. You have to like mark it first.
And I think the important thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you put the marker actually just behind the ball, right?
Good point. Yes. There's different, I've seen people do it lots of ways, but behind the ball is, I think, the traditional way. And you put it just behind there. And now, if your ball marker would be in somebody's way when they're putting, then you would use a putter length and put the putter next to it and move your marker over one putter length too. So there's different ways to do it, but traditionally, yeah, behind the ball is right. So you're always putting it back where you got it from.
See, these are the little things because we go to do it. I'm actually notorious for, again, this is me. I'm like, oh, I need a marker. I'm always borrowing someone, so I need to get, get one of
You
those
need a clip for your hat.
for sure. What I would say, besides clunking your husband in the head when you were annoyed with him, what was your what was your most memorable golf experience? Sometimes it's the course.
Yeah, there's some beautiful courses. I got to golf in Aruba once, and that was amazing. I would say though, and I think going back to just being with your friends and having that camaraderie with other women,
Yeah.
we joined our country club when we moved to the town we're in now. My kids were little. I didn't know a ton of people here. And I met this person. She's now my best friend. And we quickly became best friends. And we decided to get in. We were doing like, let's play more golf. We want to see each other more, right? So
Right.
we get in this, unbeknownst to us, we get into like the most competitive event that the course has for women every year. Like the women were really serious about
Oh
golf.
yeah, that's
And my
the
friend was
thing.
pretty new to golf.
We take no prisoners when it comes
I
to
didn't
that stuff.
know. So we were like the newcomers, the young ladies, right? And it wasn't maybe, I don't know if they were super excited that we were doing it. So, but we went all the way to the finals and we lost in the finals. My friend had been in a car accident though, so she had whiplash and stuff. So it was a little brutal, but
Oh,
I think we could have taken them. I think we could have done it.
that is really, really cool. I love that.
It was,
It's interesting. One thing popped in my head when you said that about when your kids were little. And we've spoken about this off camera, but it's the challenging part sometimes for women and getting into golf. It's like it is you can play 9 holes and you can get it out of there in about 3.5 hours. But it's taking the time and sort of trading off with your husband. But I think you have to do that because you need that time for yourself too. But how did you manage that golfing with kids? Even though we don't ask that of
so
men usually, but how did you do that?
the beautiful thing about the club we were at or that we're at is that back then they had a like a youth room, kids room. So my kids could go and swim and play and they had like video games too and table tennis and all kinds of stuff. So my kids could just go, you just have to call ahead and sign up for it. And I know some places still have that, some of the country clubs. But in general, if you didn't have that, then you got to find a sitter or a friend or
Yeah,
someone to watch your kids. And I know it can be challenging. But I want to say something to that point though about having kids and how husbands don't have to do that. I remember feeling some pieces of like resentment towards my husband. He'd be like, I'm gonna go golf. And you're like, okay, see, I'm gonna stay home with the kids,
right.
right? So what I realized though was that wasn't on him, that was on me to fix. Right. I had to like take control of my time and make that time and feel okay about it, not have guilt, not say, oh, I can't do that. I got to stay with the kids. I needed to make that choice for myself to give myself that time and get away. So
Right. I think
I would say that definitely
that's
huge.
huge. That's huge. And I totally agree with that because I remember back in the day thinking I could never be married to a golfer. They're going to but that's because I didn't understand it. But also because if I didn't have something for myself, than, that I was like that into. So that's one of the things that I love about golf too. And another reason why I think more women should get into it, because you can go with like one or two people, or it's just like tennis, it's that kind of thing. But, I just kind of feel like if you're really bad at tennis, it's really hard to kind of enjoy it. But even if you're bad at golf, you can still, like say, to have a cocktail and drive in the cart and just be outside and enjoy. It's not as like physically demanding, obviously, than like playing a tennis game with somebody. And so if you were a softball player back in the day, which I was, and I got into golf, it's something you can take up at any time, and it's okay, wherever your level of play is. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. And I would say too that there's a lot of leagues out there for women now, way more than there used to be. And most of them are very casual. So I sub on some of those leagues sometimes. And there's just this huge range of them. So find a league that fits for you, right? And there might be good golfers and not so good golfers in that league, but you know what they're all there for? One reason. They're all there to get away and have fun. That's it.
Right. Right.
Right?
And I want you to leave us with, and you've kind of given us all these like little nuggets throughout like the whole thing, but one little thing to help encourage some woman who has never been on the golf course, that's contemplating it, that's watching and like, okay, maybe I'll try it. Like what is your one little nugget before we wrap up for her?
You know what I would say is most of the time, and I think a lot of women are like this, we want to know how. We want to know the how before we do. Like, how am I going to do that? I'm not sure. And I would just say you don't have to know how to golf. Just go do it. When you're out there, play. Just play. Don't worry about the how. When you practice on the range, focus on the how. When you take a lesson, focus on the how. But when you play golf, play, have fun, just make it fun. And don't put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect or measure up to somebody else on the course, because it's all about you and having fun and just getting out there and
Right.
relaxing a little bit.
So no judging me when we go to just play. You and I for the
Never,
time.
never.
Well, thank you.
Oh my gosh, we should have
Thank you,
came
Misty
in.
White, for joining us and helping us spread the word to women everywhere that golf is kind of where it's at, and it's a lot of fun, and you need to get out there. And hopefully, if you guys are watching, you will like it, and you will subscribe and stay up to date with the next one. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Lip Out with Latona. I am Stacy Latona, and you guys have an amazing day. Thanks for joining us.
Bye. Thanks for having me.